July 2024 is over, and it's time to look at the best mods from that month. Now, even though most of these mods deserve their place in this list, some are included because they have really good ideas, but are still a bit flawed. Those mods are included to encourage those creators so they can improve their mods to match their vision. With all that said, let's get started. Starting things off with the THEZOMX weapons all-in-one. This is a collection of the recent weapon mods by THEZOMX. This mod contains a huge number of modern weapons along with their modifications. As for the quality of the weapons, they vary pretty wildly. Some weapon animations feel like they are from modern FPS games, while some feel like they are from Counter-Strike source. The same thing can be said for weapon sounds too. It varies from great to decent to terrible. However, considering how many weapons this mod contains, it's kinda okay to have a few bad ones. Most of them feel pretty good and can be fun for a military playthrough or something like that. Abundant perks similarly add a huge number of perks to the game. Now, some of them are just plain stat increases, which is not that interesting for me, but some perks are genuinely fun and can change how you play the game significantly. Two examples are Gamma Ray, which makes all laser weapons deal poison damage, and Bombardment, which creates a 20% chance of enemies hit by explosions to explode themselves. I of course haven't tried all of them, but I'm pretty sure there are plenty of other creative perks like these. Some of you might remember a mod called Freeside Overhaul Episode 1 that I showcased in my Freeside Overhaul video. Vegas Overhaul Alpha is a revamped version of that mod. Changes include more detailed interiors than the original mod and in some cases complete transformation of some interiors. This guy is still the same though.
They say I kill people, but how would they know? I eat the evidence.
He did the same joke about 3 times already. I don't think it's funny anymore.
Anyway, major changes include the second part of Freeside also being transformed alongside West Side and North Vegas Square. However, most of these buildings either doesn't have any interiors, have interiors that doesn't fit the outside of the building, or straight up just have unfinished interiors. But we have to keep the alpha tag in mind, so I don't fully recommend it just now, but definitely keep an eye on this project. Next is a pretty simple mod that adds lore-friendly ads on the back of the skill magazines. In real life, most magazines have ads or other information behind their back. It's a pretty simple mod, but helps make the game a bit more immersive. Tumbleweed Tunes mod adds a new radio station into the game along with a new radio host who sounds surprisingly similar to Sam Elliott.
Well, hello there, cowboys. I'm your host, Dusty Dude. I have some wild tales about the time I spent in New Vegas. But we'll jump on that horse a little further down the trail. Much obliged.
Now, I personally don't like the tunes too much, but I will literally just keep this radio station on to hear the Sam Elliott impression. This next mod is on this list not because of how good it is, but because of how hilariously goofy it is. You find this dog called George Washington and help free America from aliens and British robots. This mod feels like a fever dream Benny will have on the 4th of July. Personally, it kept me entertained and was pretty short, so I do recommend it. However, one thing I feel like mentioning is how bullet spongy the British robot was. I know this mod is intentionally bad in terms of the story, and that's part of its charm, but having bullet spongy enemies is never fun. Next is the 4th of July Power Armors. This mod adds a patriotic version of each of the 3 main power armor in the game. I like how these power armors look so good even though they were meant as just celebration armor for Independence Day. My personal favorite is the T-51. I just really like the stars on the chest and the overall color scheme. I highly recommend them. It doesn't matter if you are American or not, as the designs are really good anyways. On the other hand, Motorized power armor only adds 1 power armor into the game, but I still included it because of how good it looks. Everything from the colors to the overall structure of this power armor screams retro, and it looks really good to me. The only thing I do not like is this yellow part under the helmet. It kind of sticks out and doesn't look that good. There is also a Brotherhood variant, and although it looks good, it doesn't look as good as the normal one. Enhanced Locomotion adds a polished, highly compatible, and well-made Locomotion into the game. It's a pretty good mod, so I don't have much to say. So here's a small showcase of the mod. This mod also adds a small wobble effect when walking in iron sight. But by far, what surprised me the most is how good it feels to use power armor now in first person. Everything is synced from footsteps to jumps, and it just feels as weighty as it should be. FGM-148 Javelin adds a missile launcher with an actual lock-on system. Now, I am not going to sugarcoat it. The mod leaves a lot to be desired. Some examples are the huge-ass view model, weird bugs with the missiles, and more. But I am pretty sure this is the first time a mod adds a rocket launcher with lock-on mechanics. And if not, then this is definitely the first time for me. Anyway, I just want to say the idea is great, but currently, I can't recommend it as it is not that good right now. Johnsonn hunting shotgun adds new animations for the hunting shotgun and its variants. For such a small thing, why did I include it in this video, I hear you ask? I am a sucker for over-the-top fancy animations, and seeing that animation just made me so happy. I just want to say to the mod author, if you ever plan to do more animations, can you please also make the reload animations just as fancy? I know animation is a really hard thing, but we already have plenty of realistic-looking animations for these weapons, so having animations like this will just add an alternative for those who like something a bit more expressive and also create more variety. Item Assistant adds many new features in the game, such as item highlights in the environment, numeric values of various stats, more information about various items, both in the Pip-Boy and while looting, more options for looting items, and more. All this can be done just by pressing a single button. Now, I personally don't really care for item stats too much because I mostly play around with different weapons and armor, even if they have bad stats. But the item highlighter is an absolute lifesaver. This feature only highlights items like money, weapons, armor, aid items, ammo, and objects containing set items. This just helps find what you are looking for so much faster, and you can just turn it off if you think it makes the game too easy. kNVSE Fixpack fixes various kNVSE bugs like delayed reload, duplicate magazine bugs, freezing in third person, and more. This is literally a no-brainer. Download it and never uninstall it again. Decent Rubble Piles mod upscales the textures of various rubble you find throughout the world. Considering how much you see them, I thought why not include them in the list? But if you plan to use it, make sure to also download a mod that upscales the concrete textures in the game, or it will look odd. Another simple mod is True Minigun that makes the minigun feel like an actual minigun rather than some old school turret by increasing the fire rate. This doesn't affect the overall stat of the weapon and keeps things balanced. And now for the big one.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one! What is the big one?
Last month, I covered a mod called Special Effects Teaser, which replaced the ugly vanilla impact decals with better looking ones, but I didn't know the full version of this mod will just knock it out of the park. This mod replaces every single effect from the game and even adds new ones. Examples include better water impact effects, new muzzle flash effects, which by the way look really good, new dust effects when shooting a surface, and a complete revamp of the explosions and energy effects. This mod not only improves the explosions, but also smaller particle effects such as the burning stick of the dynamite or the plasma grenade hitting the ground. The new fire effects look great. The new nuclear explosion effect looks explosive, and the new flashbang effect actually blinds you. This mad lad even added new blood and gore textures, although I won't show them for obvious reasons. Even the smoke and the dust particles look really good. The only thing I don't like is the excessive amount of screen blood when getting shot, but other than that, this mod is perfect. And with that, I end this video. Some of the mods in this were truly creative and added some much needed improvements to the game, while a few mods still need a long way to go. I hope you at least found a few mods to add to your load order. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.